Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new session of biological classification. This is the fifth part of this chapter. It deals about the fungi and viruses. Okay, classification of fungi. Now, the fungi classification is based on four different characteristics, that is, morphology of the vegetative mycelium, morphological features of the reproductive structures, as we have different types of reproductive structures formed in the case of fungi. So it is taken as a characteristic for the classification. Types of spores and its dispersal. Now different types of spores has been formed in case of fungi and its dispersal is also different. So this is also taken as a basis for the fungi classification. Its life cycle, physiology, and biochemistry are also very important for classification of fungi. Now, there are four different classes, okay, based on these four different characteristics. That is Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. Phycomycetes is commonly called as algal fungi. It is called as algal fungi, and Ascomycetes is called as sac fungi. This is the common name. Okay. Basidiomycetes, also called as club fungi, and Deuteromycetes is called as fungi imperfecti or imperfect fungi. Now we will see one by one all these characteristics of all these classes. So let us start. Phycomycetes. It is called as algal fungi. Commonly, it is called as algal fungi or conjugation fungi. It is morphologically similar to the algae, and that is why it is also called as algal fungi. They are having branched and filamentous and branched hyphae, okay, which is a characteristic of true molds. The members are mainly saprophytic and obligate parasite. Now, this is very important point. Obligate parasite. Why it is called as obligate parasite? Because they cannot survive without having a host. It means that they require a host to complete its life cycle, and in the absence of host they cannot survive. So host is very important for its survival. That is why it is called as obligate parasite. The saprophytes are distributed in aquatic medium, damp soils, on decaying woods. So we can see the saprophytic form of this fungi. They can be found in aquatic medium, they can be found on damp soils, and they can also be found on decaying wood. The mycelium is highly branched and aseptate, a cenocytic. As in the fourth session, we have already discussed about the hyphae, which is cenocytic. It means no hyphae is there, and the numerous nucleus is present in the cytoplasm itself, like this. So this is cenocyte or multinucleate. Vegetative reproduction. Fragmentation is a very common method of this fungi. For the reproduction, what happened? Sometimes the fungi, the hyphae of the fungi get detached from the parent thallus. And what happened? It behaves as a new individual. So this is a type of mode of reproduction which comes under the vegetative reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Sometimes the spores are endogenously produced, okay, and they are sometimes motile and sometimes non-motile. So when they are motile, they are called as zoospores, and when they are non-motile, they are called as aplanospores. Okay, so endogenously produced sporangial zoospore. There are two types of spores are formed for the asexual mode of reproduction. When it is motile, it is called as zoospores, and when it is non-motile, it is called as aplanospores. Sexual reproduction is carried by isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. Okay, so there are 3 different types of sexual reproduction reported in this particular class. Mucor. Now there are some different examples over here. Mucor, which is also called as a black mold, and these are the very common type of Phycomycetes. Rhizopus, bread mold. It is found on the bread sometimes when the atmosphere is quite damp and suitable temperature is there, and you keep the bread, okay, moistened. So that what happened, you will see in 2-3 days this rhizopus on the surface of the bread. So it is very commonly found on the bread. So that is why it is called as bread mold. Albugo species causes white rust and mustard. Sometimes if you see this figure, this is the mustard branch infected with the fungi albugo. Okay. Now, the second class of the fungi is Ascomycetes. It is sac fungi. It is also called as sac fungi. Ascomycetes are the largest group of higher fungi. So this is called as higher fungi or largest group because many individuals has been reported or many species has been reported for this particular class. These are commonly known as sac fungi. Why they are called as sac fungi? Because their spores are developed in a sac-like structure. Spores are present in sac-like structure like this. Okay, so that is why it is called as sac fungi. The members are mostly of terrestrial saprophytes, decomposers, parasites, and coprophilous. So you know all these terms now. They are terrestrial saprophytes. They can decompose the dead and decaying matter. So they are called as decomposers. They are parasitic. Okay. They form diseases on plants and animals. So they are parasites. And coprophilous. Okay. Fecal matter. They are found on the fecal matter. They can grow on the fecal matter. That is why they are called as coprophilous also. So coprophilous are the fungi growing on the animal feces like cattle dung. Examples are Peziza or cup fungi. So if you see the structure of Peziza, it is somewhat cup-like, like this, cup shape. Okay. So coprophilous fungi, example, Peziza and Pilobolus. The common members are budding or brewing yeast. So this is a very common member, yeast. Okay. It is also called as brewing yeast. Black or green molds, powdery mildews, truffles, and morels. So these are some of the common names of fungi, and these are the members of Ascomycetes. The members vary in their form and structures. Mostly the members have well-developed, profusely branched and septate mycelium with uninucleate hyphal cells. So if you remember the cell of or the hyphae of Phycomycetes, they are aseptate and synocytic hyphae is there. But here septa are present. Septa are present and each cell bear single nuclei. Single nuclei. Okay. Yeast are unicellular fungi. So this is a very common type of fungi and its body is made up of single cell. Okay. So it is a unicellular fungi and it is a member of Ascomycetes. Asexual reproduction. Non-motile spores known as conidia is formed as a asexual spores. These are the chain of exogenous spores produced on a special mycelium called conidiophores. So we have seen earlier also about conidiophores. Conidiophores are stalk-like structure. like this. They are stalk-like structure, and on this stalk, small spore-like structures are formed. Okay, so this is called as conidia. Non-motile spores called conidia grow on conidiophores. Sexually compatible hyphae are homothallic, self-fertile with single individual and capable of sexual reproduction, or heterothallic. So single hyphae, okay, single hyphae can undergo sexual reproduction. How it go? So it has a cell. It is a cell like this, and this, it's one of its cell form a stalk-like structure like this. Okay, and it passes its nucleus from this cell to this cell. So here the union of nucleus occur. Okay, so homothallic, and sometimes this occur heterothallic also. Require two compatible partners. Now in this case, two different hyphae cell come close together. Now this is one hyphae cell and this is another hyphal cell. So here the nucleus come close together by the fusion of this wall of hyphae. So two form of sexual reproduction. So one is in the form of homothallic and another in the form of heterothallic. Sexual reproduction takes place endogenously produced ascospores produced in specialized fruiting body called ascocarp. So this is the unique feature of this particular class, that they form ascocarp. Now what is ascocarp? Ascocarp are this a sac-like structure in which ascospores are present like this. Okay, so this is called ascocarp. This sac-like structure is called as ascocarp. Ascocarp is formed by the association of sac-like asci. Okay, so here 4 to 8 ascospores are present in each ascus. Now here you can see structure of ascospores, and this sac-like structure is called as ascus. And inside the ascus, ascospores are there. Sometimes 4 ascospores are present and sometimes 8 ascospores are present, depending upon the type of division. Okay, the third type of fungi is Basidiomycetes. This is also called as club fungi. The class Basidiomycetes includes most advanced fungi. Okay, so this is a most advanced fungi and commonly known as club fungi. Some of the examples are Puccinia, which is also known as rust fungi. Astilago, this is also known as smut fungi. Saprophytes. So some of the examples of saprophytes of this particular class are mushrooms, puffballs, toadstools, stinkhorns, bird nest fungi, and bracket fungi. Okay, so these are some of the examples and they are mostly parasitic in nature. So the two example, Puccinia and Astilago, this causes a lot of damage to our crop. Okay, rust fungi, it causes lot of damage to wheat crop. Okay, so agaricus is an edible mushroom. Now some of the member of this particular class are consumed as a food in our food. So one example is agaricus. It is an edible mushroom. Amanita. Now this is a deadliest poisonous mushroom reported. So this is not an edible one. This is poisonous fungi. The mycelium is well developed, branched and septate, and seen as a primary, secondary, and tertiary forms. Now, if you see the difference between the hypha of the first, second, and third class, the Phycomycetes, they are having aseptate fungi. Okay. Ascomycetes, they are having septate fungi, but no branching is there. But here, branched and septate fungi. So this is a difference between first, second, and third classes of the fungi. And if you remember first slide of this session, there was a slide that shows that the classification of the fungi is based upon the mycelium, type of mycelium they are having. So this is the difference. Okay. Now, three different types of forms of mycelium is present in this class members. The primary, secondary, and tertiary forms. The primary mycelium formed by the germination of basidiospores and has a haploid nucleus. So no diploid nucleus, they are having only haploid nucleus. So when basidiospore germinate, it gives rise to a hyphae, which is haploid nucleus. Secondary mycelium is formed by the fusion of two cells of primary mycelium. Okay, so let us see here. This is one primary hyphae which is having haploid nucleus, and this is another hyphae. This is another primary hyphae which is having which is also having a haploid nucleus. Now what happened? Sometime these hyphae come in contact with each other like this. And this particular cell is having two nuclei now. So, but they do not get fused together. They are present as individual nuclei. So, dikaryon, N plus N or heterokaryon phase can be seen here. So, this is secondary. Now, it gave rise to a new mycelium, and all the cells of this particular mycelium is having two nucleus, N plus N form. Okay. Now, the secondary mycelium organized to form a specialized fruiting body called basidiocarp. Now, this is a unique feature of this particular class of fungi, that the secondary mycelium organizes itself in such a way that it forms a fruiting body. And in that fruiting body, basidiocarps are formed. Okay, so tertiary mycelium and dikaryotic become diploid in basidium. Now, in this fruiting body, those two particular nucleus which do not get fused to, earlier do not get fused together, now they fuses together and form basidium. That is basidium in basidiocarp. Okay, so this is a unique feature of this particular class of fungi. Now, the two very important examples of this class fungi is the rust fungi and smut fungi. Rust is caused by Puccinia graminis triticale. Okay, and this a disease is caused in wheat which is known as black rust of wheat. Now, if you see the figure, when something is burned out, the rust, okay, the rust like structure, you can see black rust like structure. That is why it is called as black rust of wheat. It is characterized by the formation of rusty pustules containing spores. So these wheat, the black spot-like structure is containing lot of spores in it. And when these spores are dispersed, it germinate and give rise to a new hyphae. Okay. So rust fungi. Next is smut fungi. They produce thick-walled, black-colored resting spores called smut spores. Is Astellagotritsi loose smut of wheat. They causes a disease in wheat which is called as loose smut of wheat. So rust and smut are the two examples of this particular fungi. The Basidiomycetes lack asexual reproduction, but vegetative reproduction by the fragmentation is common. So asexual reproduction is not reported, but yes, by fragmentation, they undergo vegetative form of reproduction. Sexual reproduction takes place by the fusion of the two different strains of hyphal cell. So that I have already shown you with the help of a diagram. So somatogamy, this particular fusion of the two hyphae, the two cells of a hyphae of two different mating type of hyphae is called as somatogamy. Okay, so two different strains of hyphae come close together. Okay, and two of the cells of these two different hyphae join together. Okay, and from one of the hyphae, the nucleus is transferred to the next hyphal cell. So that particular cell is called as dikaryon because it is having two different nucleus in one cell only. Okay, so this is somatogamy. This particular fusion of cell is called as somatogamy. Now the fourth class of fungi is imperfect fungi or Deuteromycetes. They are the least advanced fungi and are said to be imperfect fungi as there is no sexual reproduction in the life cycle. So the fungi which do not have any reproductive phase, okay, that is kept in this particular class. The mycelium is septate. Reproduction only by sexual spores called conidia. Most of them are saprophytes or parasites. So generally they are either saprophytes or parasitic mode of nutrition they follows. Saprophytes act as a decomposers and help in mineral cycling. So here we can see some of the examples: Alternaria, Fusarium, Helminthosporium, Trichoderma, Coleotricum, Gercospora. These are some of the examples of Deuteromycetes. Now, if you see the three different figures, the first one, red rot of sugarcane. It is a disease caused in a sugarcane by the fungi Coleotricum fulcatum. So you must have seen sometimes the leaves of the sugarcane is having red spot like a structure. Or even when you are chewing the cane of sugarcane, in between the cane, you can see the red spots or the red structures, red color structures. So those are nothing, they are fungi. Okay, so they cause a lot of damage to this particular crop. Next one is Alternaria solani that causes blight of tomato and potato. So this figure is showing the early blight of potato. Now, if you can see, the potato leaf is got burned like. And you know that when plants do the process of photosynthesis, it makes starch. It makes glucose, and glucose is converted to starch as a storing food material. And the potato is having lots of starch in it as a stored food material. So the green leaves of the potato are doing the process of photosynthesis, and all the glucose, the rest of the glucose, which is after metabolizing respiration process of the potato plant, the rest of the glucose is get stored in the form of starch in the potato. Now, if the potato leaves are infected by this fungi, they can damage the leaves, as you can see in the figure. So the photosynthesis rate will be affected. And again, the potato crop will be affected. So this particular crop also causes lot of damage to our potato and tomato crops. In many economic important plants like potato, tomato, and cotton, Wilting occur due to the blockage of trachea elements. So now what are trachea elements? Trachea elements are nothing but they are the part of xylem tissue. Tracheids, if you remember, tracheids are the components of xylem tissue. Okay, so this particular fungi block that trachea element and water cannot transport it to the plant. So this particular plant is causes wilting in those plant. As you can see in this figure also, wilting in case of tomato plant. Okay, so this is all about the kingdom fungi. Now, virus part is left of this chapter, but virus, according to the Whitaker, virus is not given any place to this particular five kingdom classification of Whitaker. But still, this is a part of this chapter. So let us study about the viruses. So virus is the smallest entity and it behaves as a connecting link between living and non-living. So when it is outside the living body, it is a crystal-like structure. But when it get introduced inside the body of a living, it behaves as a living. So that is why it is called as connecting link between living and non-living. Its size varies from 10 nm, 17 nm, 7.5 nm to 400 nm. Three architectural forms are found in the virus helical structure. That is, it could be in a helical form, it could be in a cuboidal form, or it could be in a biennial form. For example, helical form is reported in a TMV. Cuboidal form is reported in a polymyelitis virus, and biennial form is reported in many bacteriophage, for example, T2 bacteriophage. Okay, now here is a slide for the discovery of virus, how the virus has been discovered. So Ivanovsky has taken infected tobacco plant, okay, tobacco plant infected with the tobacco mosaic virus, and he take a crushed part of that plant and he put on that extract on the non-infected plant of tobacco. But before that extraction has been passed with the Chamberlain filter. Now this filter cannot filter out this bacteria. Now at that particular time, bacteria were the smallest entity reported. So they thought if it is if any pathogen which is causing a disease called as tobacco mosaic disease, so it must not be passed to that filter. But when filter is put on a non-infected tobacco plant, again they can see that plant got infected. So it shows that there must be some entity which are smaller than those bacteria. They are smaller than those bacteria. Bejernik demonstrated that extract of the infected plant of tobacco could cause infection in the healthy plant and named a new pathogen virus. So Bejernik gave this particular entity a name virus and called the fluid as Contagium vivum fluid. So that particular fluid which is having a virus extract, it is called as Contagium vivum fluid. Stanley showed that virus could be crystallized, and crystals consist largely of proteins that are inert outside the specific host cells. So what does this mean? That particular extract of the virus can be crystallized. That can be can be stored in the form of crystals, and when it is outside the body of the host cell. But when it is present inside the body of the host cell, it behaves like a living entity. Okay. So virus consists of two different parts, nucleoid and capsid. So nucleotide, it represents the viral chromosome. It represents the viral chromosome, and it is made up of single molecule of nuclei. Now DNA containing virus is called as deoxyribose, and RNA containing viruses is called as ribovirus. Okay. Capsid, the outer covering of the nucleic material, is called as capsid. It is made of proteinaceous material, and one particular subunit of this capsid is called as capsomers. So here the capsid consists of the number of small subunit which is called as capsomers. This is very, very important. The capsid of TMV has 2130 capsomers. So here you can see the structure that TMV virus is having RNA as a genetic material, and it is covered by the capsids, and each subunit of this capsid is called as capsomers, and the numbers of capsids in this number of capsomers in this capsid is 2130. Viruses that infect animals have either single or double-stranded or double-stranded RNA or double-stranded DNA. So there are some of the examples. Double-stranded DNA has been reported in T2, T4 bacteria and the cauliflower mosaic bacteria virus. Single-stranded cauliflage MS2 and cauliflage 5x174. It is in the circular form. Double-stranded, it is found in reovirus and tumor virus. Single-stranded, this is more common in ribovirus like poliomyelitis virus, TMV and HIV. That is human immunodeficiency virus. Now, beside virus, some more entity has been reported that is called as viroids. They are the smallest self-replicating particles which are discovered by the Diener in 1972. That particle is containing only infectious RNA particle, no protein particle, only RNA particle has been reported, and it is devoid of any protein code. No protein code has been found. So this is very, very important. So protein is not present, protein code is not present, so molecular weight of viroid is very less. Viroid particle can multiply by both RNA dependent and DNA dependent replication. So RNA dependent replication is also reported, and DNA dependent replication is also reported. So viroids are known to cause some disease, and generally in plants. So one of the disease is potato spindle tuber disease, which is caused by viroids. The last one is prions. Now, they are highly resistant small sliced glycoprotein particle which function as a infectious agent. Now, this is only glycoprotein part. This is small size, only glycoprotein part. No nucleic material is here. It can act as a catalyst converting normal protein into prion state. Prion can accumulate in nervous tissue and bring about its degradation. So it is very harmful for our nervous tissue. So prion has been reported to cause several diseases. One of it common disease is mad cow disease and Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. So this is all about biological classification. Thank you very much.